Did you know scientists estimate that there are between 35,000 to 36,000 known species of fish globally? Narrowing down to Kenya, our own country, scientists estimate that there are at least 337 known species of freshwater fish. My name is Alice Kavili, and I'm the founder of Rise Africa Agricultural Services. At Rise Africa Agricultural Services, we endeavor to empower practicing as well as aspiring farmers to venture sustainably and profitably into farming. One of the ways we do this is by partnering with experienced farmers who can offer advice to aspiring as well as practicing farmers based off their lived experiences. Today, we have the honor of interviewing one such farmer, quite innovative to say the least. His name is Mr. Jack Oyugi. Jack is the co-founder and CEO of Vertical Lakes. At Vertical Lakes, they practice climate-smart aquaculture. Besides producing fish for food, they also recycle biomass produced by fish into organic fertilizer, plant food, as well as byproducts like collagen, which are 100% biodegradable. I would love you to meet Jack. Follow me as we interview him. Hi, Jack. How are you?
Yeah, hi Alice, how are you?
I'm
Nice
fine,
to see
thank
you.
you. Nice to see you too.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us today.
Yeah.
We look forward to the interview with you. Yes.
I'm also looking forward for you to learn about Vertical Lake.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. Kindly take us, tell us what's your story. I introduced you a little bit, just mentioning how you practice aquaculture at Vertical Lakes. And the most innovative thing about Jack is that he does this using tanks that are elevated vertically, hence the name Vertical Lakes. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get here? Where did you start and how did you get here? And how has the journey been so far?
Yeah, so Alice, so this one was the Vertical Lake concept came as a result of solving several problems. So previously, as Jack Oyugi, I had founded another company called Biofit Feeds. It's basically in the upper, in the western part of Kenya. And at Biofit Feeds, what we were doing, we were transforming water hyacinth into animal feeds.
Nice.
Yes. So one thing that we realized that water hyacinth alone is not enough as enough protein for livestock feeds. So we wanted to do supplementations, like where can we get high protein so that we can now boost the feeds that we're producing at the factory. So then this we came up with why can't we like why we used, like, for example, fish meal. Yeah, we know in Kenya we use ochonga. Ochonga is fish meal, shrimps. So we were using fish meal like omena and ochonga to add to our feeds, and most of the time we could get conflicts between human who are eating fish and us using omena in our production. So this really concerned us, and we said, okay, why can't we grow our own fish or omena that can be sustainably removed from a system, then dried and used in feed production.
Nice.
So that's where we thought, like, why can't we like come up with our system of growing fish? So our focus was to get enough protein within a very short time, and we looked for the fastest growing fish, for example, the shrimps, and that's what our the target was. Like, why can't we get the daga, the fresh water shrimps, grow them in a pond system, then we are able to harvest them and dry them. But what we realized that we were not able to get these shrimps growing very faster, and most of the time they were dying. And when we went to look to examine why they were dying, well, that most of the time the water was not very safe for them to survive, and the harsh environmental climates were making them not really to go even beyond 1 week. So that was really concerning, and we were like, and we cannot really manage this. But as scientists, I wanted to understand more why this is happening and what can we do to improve so that we can sustainably produce shrimps so that we can use them in our factory.
Okay.
But at the same time, then I also realized that even my father, who was back at home, was having ponds, and all the ponds had dried up, and the fish, he had lost all the fish because of droughts. And I could even easily observe most of the time the birds, contaminants, like even a runoff water going to the ponds, and these serious problems. I even remember one time I spoke to my father and asked him why he's really not making profits out of the ponds, and he said even the operation cost for the ponds is very high, like feeds are very expensive, and he has to wait for 1 year to sell their fish so that he can return back the money that maybe is just using feeding. And most of the time when you sell the fish, you don't get enough capital, then you get discouraged. So then I was now geared, trying now to solve two problems. How can I sustainably grow fish to be used in my company? At the same time, how can I help my father back at home to have a sustainable way of growing fish without relying on the conventional or traditional ways of growing fish? So that then brought me back to Nairobi, and I said, I want to have a small container where I'm going to study this fish and see the behaviors. If they're going to die, let them die in my hand, and I'm able to make them, maybe just try to make them not to die, so that I can know what to do, so that we can sustainably do this. Yeah. So when I came with this species of fish in Nairobi, like the omena or the shrimps, we put them in a tank. And one of the things that I was able to identify is that most of the time the water was stagnant, so there was not enough oxygen circulation in those tanks, and this way they were suffocating for oxygen. So that's the first that I understood. The other thing is that even in the tanks where they were staying, they were still removing wastes, and still even we tried feeding them, and the waste accumulation was really becoming toxic to that water system, and that's why they were not surviving. So then my focus was, why can't we then improve on the water quality? And the only way to improve water quality is to have a flowing water system, and that's brought us now to what we call the vertical lake concept, and which is a flowing lake, but it's now flowing from up from the sky coming down. And if you go back to the lake flows horizontally. So we wanted to come with a system that is like replicating what's happening in the lake while it flows, to make sure that water is clean, it's ever fresh, and now the fish is able to thrive. That's why we call it vertical lake, because now our lake mimics the lake, but now it flows from up coming down. Yes, that's now the vertical lake concept.
Nice. That's quite innovative.
Thanks.
Yes, that really is innovative. What's your purpose? What's your end goal? When you're starting vertical lakes, what did you have in mind? And how far have you come in that journey?
Okay, so when we were starting, actually for me, the short goal for when I was starting this was to solve a problem. I wanted to successfully produce protein or fish protein that I can use in my company. So I wanted to make a system, or to make it successful, so that I can go back to my factory, train the employees back there. This is how you can grow fish within a very short time, then harvest the fish, process them to feed, so that we sell. That was the short goal. But when we were doing this, we realized that we could do something more with this, because when we started growing the small species of fish, we call them the nyasa barbs or the omena, we realized that some species of tilapia were carried along, and they were surviving, and they were becoming much bigger within a very short time. And we look at the amount of water we were using, which really reduced, and even the space when we started like stacking tanks going up in the sky, we realized that we could easily now grow tilapia within a very small space, and even using less water, and start like feeding them ourselves, or even supplying to the community surrounding us. So we changed from the short vision to the long vision. Why can't then we transform this kind of innovative idea to something of a bigger nature? We can now serve the entire nation or the entire world with fish, organic fish that has never been seen anywhere. So today we say we are not really solving our biofeeds problem, but we are solving the entire global challenge of protein crisis, whereby there's not enough protein and clean and organic protein in this matter. And still, we're also solving the issues of unsustainable agricultural systems, like the pond farming, the problems farmers face, the problems farmers face in cage farming. So we are coming up now with these innovative solutions that can now empower our local communities and even revolutionize how we think about aquaculture going forward.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. It is said the journey of 1,000 miles starts with just a single step. You begin. Jack mentions solving a problem that is global in nature, but they started on a space that is 100 square meters. He's going to take us through that. Shall we?
Before I take you inside there, so maybe I just like give you a brief of what's happening entirely at Vertical Lake. Yes, so I've mentioned the purpose, why we came up with this thing, and where we are going with this.
Okay.
But I want just to give more exposure on the problems that we are trying to solve.
Okay.
Yeah, we all understand that aquaculture system, global population is really growing, and consumers are demanding for more sustainable farming methods and even food systems. At the same time, the traditional and conventional ways of growing food for today is not good for our environment and even for our own health. But the big question I was asking myself, we've seen hydroponics done in a smart way, and why you're asking us is why can't we do fish like the way hydroponics is done, like done. Hydroponics for fish. Yeah, so this thing has been my kind of drive, and that's what we've come up with. So if you look at what we came up with, the solution that we came up with is what we call now the vertically stacked tanks. Okay. So the higher you go, the more fish you're able to grow. So you can have different layers of tanks. So maybe one layer, second layer, third, fourth, fifth. So we are not limited in space because there's nothing. The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So now with these tanks, we have water flowing in every tank, and we do purification at every level. For instance, we do biofiltration, gravitational biofiltration, and that means now we are able now to recycle enough water in this space. So what does this system means to us? The first thing is that we are able to recycle 98% water. So it's very water effective. Wow,
that's remarkable. 98% is definitely water. Remarkable.
And we actually we've done this for the last 2 years without losing any water to the ecosystem. This thing is pure land-based. So it's a land-based system. So that means not permanent. So that means for farmers or for us, if you want to, it can be easily relocated. Imagine if you've leased a space to do a pond, and the owner of the space have told you to leave. Yeah. So you leave the pond or you destroy the pond. For us, we are saying vertical lake you can easily carry because it's mobile portable. And it's portable land-based, and that means the same thing. It does not like get contaminants like runoff water or things that might come from the earth, which traditionally affects the ponds and the cages. The other thing is specificity. So we've done our calculations and we realized that within this system we are like 15 times more than a pond. That's true because of the freshness of the water, how the water flows in the system, and how the biofiltration works. We're able to increase fish growth rate within a very short time and get maximum production, and still with the spacings and the stacking, then that means we can get more fish within a very small space, 15 times.
Quick question. Let me just make you pause there. You earlier mentioned, and I've shared with our viewers, that the space where you have a vertical lake is 100 meters squared. Normally, because you've been into this for quite a while, if it was just a mere pond occupying the same space, how many fish would it ideally would one be able to rear within that space if it was a normal, typical, traditional fish pond? And how many are you able to rear within that space using those vertically elevated tanks?
Yeah, perfect. So like you said, our space here, the 10 by 10 meter. Yes, currently if you are doing it in a normal conventional way, you range between 1,000 to 2,000 fish in that kind of system.
1 to 2,000.
Yes, in that kind of space. But us here, we are looking towards 40 to 50,000 fish in the same space.
Wow.
Yes, so this is massive, and we can even increase more, and that's just doing 4 layers of tanks.
That's 4 layers of
4 layers of tanks. That means we have 4 rows of tanks and 4 layers of tanks. We're able to do around 40 to 50,000. So if we do another 4 layers, that means we double the amount of food that we're able to produce in that small space.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so having answered that, I was still explaining the benefit of this system. In terms of environmental impact, we have 0 carbon emissions, or let's say net zero emissions, because it's very contained, and it's very clean model of growing fish, and that means we also use solar system to drive our system,
solar powered.
Solar powered, and that way we are able to control our emissions, and it's very climate resilient system. In terms of wastes, I've heard you explain waste. Is that of waste?
Let me get them. We have the fertilizer here.
Yes. So in terms of waste, allow me to explain it further. I looked at my father back at home when he said that he was losing because of high cost of feeds, the
Mm-hmm.
operation costs.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at why poultry is still leading, or dairy is really adopted in our ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that one of the big thing with these other farming models, that farmers are cautioned they are able to sell probably eggs in a day, and that money they can reuse to buy maybe feeds, or even treat the animals when they are sick. Even if you are doing dairy, maybe you sell milk a day, so that it cautions you, it gives you like that recurrent revenues. But for fish farmers, one thing that I realized, that they have to wait for 1 year to sell the entire fish. So if there's a loss in between, so they already lost, because there's now what we call multiple revenues coming from fish farming, except selling for fish. So one of the things that we also were looking into, if farmers want to adopt this, then how can we give them opportunity to get multiple revenues from other things that previously maybe not seen as revenues. So our system, how it is designed and how it operates, is able now to harness or like to concentrate the entire biomass coming from the water. And when we say biomass here, is the poops, which because they feed every day
from the fish.
from the food. And everybody knows that fish poops are high in nitrogen or in protein, so they are very good in terms, they can be very good organic fertilizers. And even the excess feeds that are not consumed, if you look at ponds, you throw feeds, and probably not all feeds will be eaten. Some will still go to the discharge water. So as we are able to collect everything that is coming from there within our system, and those biomass is now transferred to the organic fertilizer, we call it plant food.
Plant food.
Yes.
So you recycle that into that. That's nice.
Yes. So right now we are saying, so for us here, we only not make money from selling fish, yes, but we can sell an organic fertilizer. Blue Harvest fertilizer is the name, that it can now also help farmers in regenerating farms, helping farmers to maybe increase production, but it's also purely organic without any kind of contaminants or pollution. The other thing also we looked into in terms of wastes, mostly we know fish is for food. So you get an entire fish, you eat it. But what you eat is the meat or the flesh.
Yes.
So we are saying what happens after the flesh is eaten. So you still throw away the bones, you throw away the fins, the heads, and even the skin and the scales, which are not consumed. So we also come up with a better way of now transforming that to biomaterials like the collagen protein, what you are holding, and this collagen now can go for many purposes. We are currently evaluating this in organic packaging, or we call it edible packaging. Now imagine packing your food with this, and when you remove it from the deep freezer, you just like put it into the cooking pan, frying pan. So you don't need to throw it away, because it is still fish, you can still eat it anyway. And also we're looking at, even if you throw it away, it does not affect the environment. It's biodegradable. Within 1 week, you will not find this, and it becomes nutrients for the crops. The other thing with collagen we are now evaluating is now the medical aspect of collagen, whereby we are using collagen now in terms of research in human burn treatment and wound treatments. People with chronic wounds, diabetic wounds, cancerous wounds, we can use collagen to facilitate the growth of the cells around the wound, so that they can recover very fast and even recover safely in an organic way. We also look at collagen in terms of cosmetics. So if we can produce masks,
women and the masks.
Yes, women and the mask pills for collagen. So those are entire routes of how we can transform fish, not just like for food, but for other benefits. And actually, if I surprise you that the bioproducts might be more giving more revenues than the fish itself, you might be surprised. Yeah. So that's what our system can do. And lastly, we are also saying we are scalable and endless. This is a copy paste model. We can easily copy this to Mombasa, to Uganda, and any part of the globe, because you will need small space. Harvest water from the rain. You probably don't even need a lot of water, and just put it there. It can grow with any species of fish. So if we want to do salt waters, you can still do the salty fish. If you want to go to Europe, you do the high-end fish like the salmon and the trout. You can still do that with this, and anybody can do this in your backyard, in the balcony. If you want to do it in the rooftops, in arid areas, in the slums, in the urban areas, anywhere it fits.
Anywhere.
And that's the benefit of this kind of idea.
Okay.
Yes.
To our viewers, allow me to just mention, when he says arid, semi-arid, wherever you can fish, we are in Kajiado County. If you know Kajiado County, this is a semi-arid region. There are very few known sources, natural sources of water here. So this is Kajiado County, semi-arid area, can be pretty dry at times, but Jack is successfully farming fish here.
using rainwater.
Using rainwater.
Yeah. So now where's the future with this thing? So the future is bright, and we are saying this future is endless and scalable. So endless as in we can go as higher tanks, like 10 tanks high in the sky, and we can do several rows, probably like 100 rows. So this can be a very big concept that can even serve the entire nation with fish protein and also other beneficial byproducts coming from it. Allow me now to take you to how it operates.
Okay.
Yes. So we are also left behind in terms of technology. And with today, we know that if you don't do technology, you don't use technology in farming, then at least you will not be getting maybe enough production from your farm. So one of the things that we've implemented, our system comes with integrated cameras and sensors. Nice. So the cameras right now, they are overhead cameras.
Okay.
Yes, that are looking or are viewing fish 24 hours. So they are. We are right now working on an AI model that can at least take data from the camera, the videos, and then interpret those videos. For example, if you see fish moving on the reverse gear through maybe the tail region, probably there's not enough oxygen in the tank.
So, that's something new I'm learning. I don't know about our viewers. I didn't know fish can reverse. Does it really happen?
Yeah. If you see fish moving on the reverse motion, that means there's not enough oxygen in that tank.
Okay.
And if you see them piping is like you see the mouth
bubbles,
is the mouth is on the surface of the water, and it's like opening it rigorously. So that means what's happening, they're looking for aerial oxygen. The same oxygen. Okay. Yes, there's not enough oxygen down there. You can see them moving vigorously with opening, randomly opening their mouths. Probably they're hungry. And if you see a fish staying in one place for a very long time without moving, maybe stressed, sick, and you see floating one, maybe it's dead. So what we are saying here is that we are now currently integrating technology in our aquaculture system so that we can real-time monitor what's happening, so that we can increase production. If we put 1,000 fish in a tank, then we're able to calculate how many fish in there in the tank. The system is able to tell us what is the size, what is the weight, and when are they going to be ready for the market, and what's the right amount of feed to be given. And even if we have losses, it's able to calculate how many fish have died in the entire process, so that we can have maximum production in this kind of system.
Okay.
Yes.
That's nice. I don't know about our viewers, but I personally am very, very curious to just find out what really is on the ground, or as Kenyans say, I want to see for myself if vitu kwa ground ni different or are they the same. For the non-Swahili speakers, when you say vitu kwa ground, vitu just means things. Simply means that want to see whether things on the ground are really as per this board that Mr. Jack has just taken us through. Shall we?